Okay, so you're welcome to my blog. I'm King Ife. Uh, my blog, my YouTube channel. You're welcome wherever you're listening, whichever platform you're seeing this from. Well, you're welcome. Well, I'm really ecstatic about the fact that I've got 10 subscribers to my YouTube channel, and most of them who subscribe mostly told me that they really subscribe because of their they would like to learn more about the received pronunciation. And when we talk about the received pronunciation, we're talking about the British accent. I mean, the kind of British accent broadcasters would normally use to read news, and maybe you get to hear people speaking that on BBC or any other place. Here in Nigeria too, we're always rooting for the British accent more often than we root for the American accent, in as much as the American accent is still very relevant, especially when you leave Nigeria, and still it's relevant here also. It's relevant here in Nigeria. So today I'd like to talk about the O sound. Yeah, the O sound. I would like us to look into it and find the differences in the sound as we speak it here and as it's supposed to be spoken. So one thing that you have to understand is that the O sound is exclusively British in sound. I mean, it's exclusively British in nature. Well, you don't get to hear Americans saying "or" in words where British say "or" too. I mean, you might tend to feel that they are saying the same thing because it's more like a dialectal variation. You know, the Americans would say "all." I mean, I want to give you all of this, and the British would say "all." So now the basic thing you have to understand now is that how you will be able to pronounce the sound very well is for you to understand that the British accent deals more with power and strength and energy in pronouncing these words. You get to hear someone like Richard Quest when he's on CNN, and he always tries to make sure that he enunciates every word of his, and now that's exactly how you get to know British accent. Now the utter opposite is the American accent, which deals more with relaxation. So let's try to check these words, the British and the American, and of course we're trying to make you understand the British accent a lot better. So for words like all, I mean all of you, yeah, you know the Americans will always say all of you. Now British would say awkward. I mean, this is really awkward. Americans would say this is really awkward. And don't forget that Americans always, American accent is rhotic in nature, so you get to hear a lot of R sounds wherever there's R. But the British accent is not rhotic, so the R's are killed. You don't pronounce them. They don't really come out, except maybe where they're connectors, where they're connected to another word that starts with a vowel sound. That's where you get to pronounce it. Okay, like whereabout. You see there's a connector there, whereabout. So it's not whereabout. No, it's, from British it's whereabout. So there's a connector there. It always connect. Like there is a connector there. Yeah, but there it's just there. Now there is, you have to put the R there. So now you have all, awkward, order. What did you order? I ordered something. Now the Americans will say, what did you order? Or order. So there's always an I in it. So British would say corner. Yeah, like somebody turned a corner. Call. I called you on the phone last night and you didn't pick the call. Okay. Fall. Yeah. To take a fall. Fall. To fall down. Tall. He's really tall. Talk. Yeah, like you say, you hear me always saying I talk to you about something. I'm here to talk to you about something. And when you want to say talk, remember the L is not really pronounced, so it's talk. And Americans would say talk or talk. Yeah, we're talking about something. We're talking about something. But British would say we're talking about something. Now, there's another word. This one I want to say here in Nigeria, a lot of people tend to mispronounce it. I mean, you get to hear people say feck, as in the feck you used to eat. No, it's not feck, it's fork. knife, fork, spoon, fork. So it's fork. You call it fork and not feck or feck or whatever you call it. It's fork, and then the American people tend to call it fork. Now we have border, the border, country borders. We have ball, football. Yeah, you get to hear, and then those of you who like ESPN, you get to hear them talk about football often, and not really about soccer. Soccer is mostly used by the American people. You hear football, you hear gallbladder, the gall bladder. Of course, you know, those of you who are studying biology, you know the gallbladder. So it's gallbladder, and the jaw. Jaw. You tend to remember that the jaw can also be called jaw. Americans tend to call it jaw. Now, pork meat. Pork meat, of course, the pork meat from a pig, right? You get pork meat from a pig, swine, or whatever name they call it these days. So pork, it's pork, P-O-R-K, pork. But the Americans call it pork. We have water. A cup of water. You need to drink a cup of water. Now the water, it has an O sound in it, so a lot of people tend to say water. Water is the American variation of it. Water is the American variation of the water that we hear. Now here in Nigeria, I don't know, some people tend to say water or water, or of course I mean water. Okay, I can't really do it well, but you know, just know if you want to get it right, it's better for you to be on the safer side. Say water. Make sure your T is well enunciated. Sword, knife, and sword. So sword, the sword the angels use in fighting. Of course, that's what most people will remember. So that's sword, and the Americans would say sword. Okay, naughty, like someone is really naughty. Yeah, Americans would say naughty. Naughty, you're really naughty. Well, well, 4, like the number 4. Yeah, 4 like this. Yeah, you hear, you get to hear me say 4, and the American will say 4. 40, he's 40 years old. A 40-year-old man. Yeah, you get, that's how you say it. A 40-year-old man. Oh, that's if you want to know to learn the received pronunciation, which is British. But if you want the American pronunciation, you can say the 40-year-old man. 40, the 40-year-old man did this, did that. Okay, so now the word awesome. This is really awesome. Do you hear people say that? Awesome. That's awesome. You get to hear that's awesome. Awesome. Awesome is more like the American variation of awesome. Then court, the court of law. Law too, court and law, they have the O sound in it. Then you have Port Harcourt, the town Port Harcourt in Nigeria. So that's how you say Port Harcourt. And not really, okay, I wouldn't say not really, but you know, that would be the American variation of saying Port Harcourt. You say Port Harcourt. And we have broadcast, to broadcast. I'm a broadcaster. Sure, that's my job. I'm a broadcaster, although I'm still starting out and wouldn't mind getting bigger jobs anyway. So, but I'm a broadcaster. And yeah, of course, you get to hear Americans say, I'm a broadcaster. Good. Then you have thought, to think. Thought, the past tense, thought. I thought you'd come around, but you never showed up, and you never called me. So, thought. Americans would say, I thought you'd come around, but you never showed up, but you never called me. Good. So, fight and fought. Fought. Yeah, we fought. They were fighting for a girl. They fought over the girl. I caught cold last night. Yeah, I caught cold last night. That means to catch cold. And the past tense caught. I caught cold last night. That means caught. To say court is also similar to saying court of law. I mean, they they are homophones, right, or homonies or whatever.